Good evening, YouTube, and welcome back inside my 1961 New Yorker. I fixed the hood ish, and I've been learning a lot about the independent dual-carbed cross-ram intake system, and my cold start situation is greatly improved. Ugh. It doesn't not start, but hotter ignition would make a big difference and can help an engine run better even if the fuel mixture isn't 100% perfect, which these ubiquitous Malaise-era electronic ignition systems are better than the original points, but still kind of lame. It works, but not exactly throwing the lightning. On the contrary, here's my other cast iron American lump. Ice cold. You know what Mopar stands for? Move over. Pontiacs are racing. Yeah, I know it's fuel injected, but more importantly, the electronic ignition systems are top-notch, with 40% more voltage and 85% more energy than your standard points ignition. Now I'm going to show you how to retrofit your classic car with junkyard parts and supercharge your ignition system for peanuts. To get the most out of this upgrade, you're going to need three things: an E-coil, an HEI ignition module, and a heatsink of some kind so the HEI module doesn't cook itself. Let's start with the coil. Start by looking for a 90s GM truck. Most GM T400s should have what plants crave, but let's find an S10 because I'm 5'6" and I can't see over the hood of most half-tons. Someday I'll find one that works. Any 4.3 Vortec will have our coil, and S10 Blazers are easier to find in a junkyard than a Pidgey in Pallet Town. This E-coil is nice, because not only will it produce double the voltage of my old-school can-style coil, allowing for bigger sparks across wider plug gaps, but it also has a built-in heatsink for the HEI module, so I won't gotta make one. You can use one from a 90s Dodge Ram if you're a Mopar purist, bless your heart, but any half-ohm ignition coil should work fine. There's two bolts holding it in, but they're under this bracket, which is under this bracket, which means the intake has to come off. There should be a wing nut back here holding it on. All the hardware securing this American truck's coil is 10 millimeters. Damn liberals! They took my fractions! You can buy offshore knockoffs for this entire assembly for like $30 brand new. If you want genuine GM parts that are also probably made offshore, prepare to spend $200 or so. Personally, I think you'll get fewer out-of-box failures from the junkyard than you would from Chinese part suppliers these days. Especially if the car was wrecked, because then you know it at least ran when it was scrapped. This is all you need, except for this module. It's computer controlled, so it's not really right for this swap. But fear not. All we gotta do is go back in time 10 more years. This yard scrapped all the 80s GM cars that were here last week and didn't update the online inventory, so I have to resort to the commercial vehicle section. Nope. This one's a little less disgusting. And never mind. It's a big block, and this is what we're looking for, a high energy ignition or HEI distributor. Look for the distributor with the coil built right in. The HEI module and coil are hidden inside the distributor cap. You know, this is actually ideal. I'm basically indoors, outside of the elements, and I don't even have to reach to the back of an engine bay to reach the damn thing. It's just right here. And the carpet is so cushy and wet. Off comes the cap and coil, and there's the rotor, which is held in by 2/4-inch hex screws on this specific application. These could be metric, standard, Torx, Phillips. You're going to want to bring your entire hobo fart bit set for this trip. And here's pay dirt. A genuine GM 4-pin HEI ignition module. Just 2 screws and 2 connectors. Alright, so it's not genuine GM, but I've been out here all damn day. I'll take it. The connectors are great to have and they fit in your pocket, but that's not legal advice, just a statement of fact. So we've taken the module, but the reason we didn't want this coil is because it's built into the Dizzy. The Blazer coil is basically the same inside, but it has the heatsink we can utilize. On factory HEI-equipped systems like this, the distributor was the heatsink, which is neither ideal nor compatible with your Mopars. Or, if you're the kind of man that likes to pee sitting down, your Fords. I just can't help myself. Let's get the hell out of here. One last tip. Emergency vehicles are a great source of free connectors, conduit, wiring. I thought that was a dog. I think I've been out here too long. Adios, paraíso. Here's our S10 Blazer heatsink, and here's our HEI module. As you can see, the mounting holes are perfect, but the heatsink fins interfere just a tad. You could drill new holes, but I spent $500 on that stupid Harbor Freight mini milling machine, so I'm obligated to use it for something. Just gonna pop it on there and, Duh, I'm a machinist. No, but it does work. Next, we gotta deal with these 2 locating studs. You can grind them off easy enough, but then you'll have to do that with your teeth if you ever need to replace the module on the side of the road without your tools. So I'm going to drill 2 locating holes in the heatsink so I can just get one off the shelf and slap it on if I ever have to. Future-proofing for the win. Don't forget your thermal paste. Without it, the heatsink is basically for show, and your module is going to cook itself into an early grave. These screws are 5.5mm, by the way, which no sane American would bring with them to the junkyard. Just a heads up, if you don't want to buy 2 modules, make sure you bring that socket with you so you can take the original one off. Alright, quick wiring overview. I'll put some diagrams in the description. The C pin goes to the white with black coil negative wire on the Blazer's connector, and the B pin goes to your coil positive, this pink wire, which we also need to tie into a 12-volt source that's hot with the key both in the run and start positions. In my case, that's this pale blue wire with the yellow tracer. If you have an old Chrysler electronic ignition like me that you're getting rid of, you should have a wire like this that's hot in the start and run positions, so find it. Hold your breath because we're diving deep into the blue. Here's my complete ignition system. I've extended my 12-volt source wire and tied it into the pink wire, which is connecting coil positive to the module's B terminal. The C terminal goes right to my coil negative, which would also feed my tachometer signal.
If I had one!
The W and G pins are connected to the pickup wires coming out of the Dizzy. These wires carry a sinusoidal AC waveform from the pickup in the distributor to your HEI module, so it can control the spark timing and also the dwell, which is another nice feature. Since it's AC, it'll work regardless of which way you have it plugged in, but phase is a thing with AC, and if it's backward, the signal will be slightly out of phase, and your ignition timing will be off, and the car's probably going to run, but probably like dog poop. This ground pad originally grounded the HEI module to the GM distributor, but we've got a painted bracket and a thermal paste in the way, so I'd recommend just adding a dedicated ground wire. I ran mine to the alternator body. conveniently located in the same corner of the car. Last but not least is the high voltage lead from the coil to your distributor. You could modify the Blazer's factory lead to work, but it's kind of short and it won't reach my chosen coil location, so I'm going to make my own lead with the coil terminal from any LT, LS, or Vortec V8 wire on one end, and a straight female terminal on the other end, plus about 4 foot of spark plug wire from Napa. Your application may vary. Every damn time. Starting over. In keeping with the budget theme of this swap, I've scavenged the rest of the wiring I need from my wife's Keurig. It's my shop. I can wear what I want. I was in the pool! Us fellow Mopar guys can now ditch their ballast resistor. None too soon. There's no need to reduce the voltage to protect your namby-pamby ignition coil, because your new E-coil can take it all. Those 2 wires going in, and the 2 wires that were going out, all get spliced together. Lastly, I'm going to re-gap my spark plugs from the factory 35 thou to 45 thou to take advantage of all that extra energy and make a bigger, hotter spark. The right thing to do is to buy new spark plugs, but if you think I've got $56 to burn, you must be new here. Moment of truth, just so you don't accuse me of warming it up beforehand. 73 degrees. Not bad for Pennsylvania in August. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff. Bit of a stumble. A heck of a lot better though. Nothing to do now but drive it like I stole it. Let's see how she scoots. Traction control is off. Light 'em up. Oh yeah, daddy likes. That stupid Charger is in front of me in my real Mopar with GM ignition. But let's not forget where Walter Chrysler got his start. Thanks for watching.
Chrysler, it seats about 20, so